have Bhanuchandra Nagarajan, former consultant, World Bank and public policy expert, now joining us in the broadcast. We also have Pawan Duggal, Chief Executive, Artificial Intelligence Law Hub, with us as well. Thank you, Bhanuchandra and Pawan, for taking time out to be with us. Bhanuchandra, let me come to you first. The first question I have to ask is the fact that we are hosting it says a lot about the role that India is already playing, and is that how that role is set to evolve as far as AI is concerned in the coming years.
Well, absolutely. I think we have earned our spurs in hosting very significant events. We hosted the G20 quite successfully. We have hosted international sporting events quite successfully. So this should be the normal from now on. So what should be expected out of India is to be hosting these global events of all in all categories with ease and making it successful. So this is number one. But what we actually want out of this, what India actually should try to get out of this, is to have a good headline for where India stands in the whole AI scheme of things, right? So, see, if you look at the United States, it's producing the fastest chips. It is producing a lot of closed systems with a lot of LLMs. And China is equally competent, right? It's producing these really fast LLMs and really fast applications. So where do we stand in the whole scheme of things is something that's still hazy. And this event will perhaps give us an opportunity to position ourselves on where we lie in the scheme of things. And we have quite a lot of strengths. We can talk about it in detail.
Yeah.
I think what India can actually provide, as the UN chief was saying, is to show how AI could be used for a greater public good and not just for the elites.
Pawan Duggal, the key message here is the democratization of AI and the ethical development of it, isn't it?
Surely, when India organizes the India AI Impact Summit, it's very clear it wants to demonstrate India's thought leadership, not just in the global south, but in the international ecosystem as a whole. And that's why the inclusive themes of the summit are just an indication of the way how India is positioning AI to be. With Prime Minister Narendra Modi giving the new slogan to the world of sustainable AI, wherein he has married the concept of sustainability with artificial intelligence, India is well poised to move forward. However, it's very important that India must also give thought leadership on the legal, policy and regulatory issues pertaining to AI. So because most of the laws that have been passed in the world are in the Western world, whether it's the European Union, or whether it's El Salvador or Hungary. So consequently, the voice of the global south in shaping of AI policy is very, very minimal. Now, India stands dominant power and position in this regard. What we can potentially do is to come up with legal principles, legal foundational doctrines, which can then guide nation states in the global south and in the international community on how to deal with the legalities of AI. My problem is it's not just about narrow artificial intelligence that you and I are using. Agentic AI has arrived. Now with AI agents being 500 times more superior and efficient than humans in doing certain activities, the important issue is how do we straddle AI with accountability? Therefore, accountability, legal principles and frameworks becomes a topmost priority. Most of the countries in the global south have not yet attempted to come up with legal frameworks on AI, barring South Korea and Japan. But I think this summit provides a fantastic opportunity for India to demonstrate to the world that what India is going to say or talk about in terms of the ethical and the policy ramifications of AI could tomorrow become a benchmark standard for the world at large. So I think it's a historic moment.
Right.
Also, it's important because India is the most populous nation in the world, the biggest democracy in the world, and what India does on AI and its way forward will to a large extent determine how the global discourse AI is likely to be evolving.
Okay. Bhanuchandra, the core themes of the summit are people, planet and progress. And it's very interesting, isn't it? People and progress are obvious. Planet, the fact that AI needs to evolve and develop when it's climate sensitive.
Oh, absolutely. The sustainability issues like getting a lot of traction in the United States these days. There are a few provinces in the United States that have sort of banned or are giving a no-go to development of more data centers because it is guzzling all the electricity and all the water and all that. So I think there is a sort of a rethink within the AI community. In fact, like Anthropic just said that it is going to like cough up all the extra charges that is going to accrue because it's using a lot of power. So I think within the AI world, there's a lot of chatter about sustainability already. And I think India still we have still not gone to that level because we have still Sarvam just came up with its LLM last week, which doesn't have the serious environmental impact of the other large LLMs that have been developed in the US. So I think like we sort of can give a leadership, we can provide a leadership role to the world. Apart from that, the most important thing in terms of the summit is the people aspect of it. See, if India makes it democratic, and India makes sure that AI reaches the last mile, okay, not just the elite's last mile, like, say the poorest student, the poorest farmer, the poorest SME, and make sure that those benefits are accruing to those people, then we actually set an example internally. Not only that, like we can provide example to the global south, we can export what we learned in terms of AI to developing countries like we did with vaccine Maitri and so many other things. So I think like this democratization, this thinking about the last mile comes naturally to us because like that is how all our view of the world as well. So in fact, like Sri Aurobindo, the great Aurobindo said that India should rise for the world. I think this is exactly like the sort of situation where we can imbibe that spirit and tell the world that yeah, we are working on this cutting edge technology. We are going to be part of the cutting edge, but we'll also make sure it's democratic. We'll actually make sure that it reaches the last mile.
Mr. Pavan, at this stage, when the comments of Sam Altman at one stage about India and where it's at, when it comes to developing AI, they didn't age very well, isn't it? Because right now, the advances that India have made, especially in the last a couple of years, have made it very clear that India is one of the strongest players in the world when it comes to artificial intelligence.
There is no denying the fact that no discourse on AI can take place on the global table without India. Why? Because it's the biggest market in the world. Why? Because Indians are producing the most fertile AI training data. Why? Because all these big tech companies want the Indian data so that they can use this for the purposes of training their LLMs and making them more, shall I say, perfect. But in this scenario, I think India needs to seize this opportunity to go forward. One of the criticisms is, look, India is talking about AI and you don't even have a law on artificial intelligence. That's one big area that India needs to start working up. We require a dedicated legislation on artificial intelligence to demonstrate to the world how we can actually balance between the rights of the citizens and also ensuring the strategic protection of the national interests of the nation at large. The onus will also be on the government to ensure that it protects the neuro rights of citizens. Today, with AI actually going ahead and making people more and more dependent, what's currently happening is that people have started walking towards cognitive colonialism. They are willing to be cognitive slaves of these big tech companies. Why? Because all their work is being done by AI. It's time for the government to protect the cognitive thinking rights and the cognitive thinking capabilities of citizens, lest they become guinea pigs on the global laboratory of AI stakeholders. In addition, I think India also needs to go forward in this direction. The good thing is that the government of India has demonstrated its remarkable maturity. It's come up recently with the Information Technology Amendment Rules 2026, which have stipulated for the first time how service providers will now have to mark all AI generated content or synthetically generated content as not belonging to AI, so that people are more on standby and on advance notice so that they don't actually become victim of these AI crimes. And further, it's also seeking to deal with deepfakes. But in January 2026, in India, we've already launched important initiatives which go right into the heart of the present summit. India has launched the Global AI Harms Registry, which is a collation of all harms cases where AI has caused harm to humans, and this is being sought to be open to the world at large. Anybody can report each different categories of harms. In addition, I've also launched the AI Accountability Framework 2026, wherein we have actually sought to collate the legal principles, foundations, and doctrines which countries need to keep in mind as we go forward in this direction. So India is remarkably for its mature approach, demonstrating the Western way is not the only way. Perspective of the developing nations, perspective of global South is of crucial necessity. Today, no meaningful dialogue will ever be able to be achieved, nor any meaningful international regulation AI can be achieved without keeping in mind and without making inclusive perspectives of global South and the developing countries. And that's the reason why this particular summit becomes of so much importance, not just for India, but also to the developing nations and the world at large. India is a natural leader of the global South, and India, by hosting this summit, by selecting its themes, is only ventilating the hopes and aspirations of millions of those who belong to those countries who are not in the digital have zone of AI, but who are right now the recipients or the mere
Right.
users of AI.
Stay with us. We're also being now joined by Kanishk Gaur on the broadcast. Kanishk Gaur, tech expert and founder, India Future Foundation. Kanishk, thank you so much for joining us on the discussion. Let me come to you. It's no less than the chief of the United Nations who said India is the right place to host this AI Impact Summit 2026. And this is coming at a time when there's a global calls for regulation and laws on AI, and who better than India to lead the charge when it comes to drawing up those global regulations.
Absolutely, KK. India is poised to be the leader because a lot of development of AI is happening in India. The connection between the American businesses and the European businesses, when it comes to bringing a streamline, India plays an extremely important role. India not only provides a market for use of AI, but also is a global center for development of AI, which could favor growth for the rest of the world. So it connects the global environment today, not only from people, but also from process and also from sustainability perspective. Right now, when the world is too much divided, with the times of tariffs, with the times of new alliances being set up, this AI summit makes India's importance extremely point in time for the rest of the world. We see that today a lot of infrastructure is getting put in India for building out the right growth, whether it comes to procurement of GPUs, whether it is coming to setting up new semiconductor plants and making India as part of the global supply chain. India is bound to play an extremely important role. And no better time than now, where India makes strategic investments and also drives strategic investments from global players to see India as a key hub, not only on AI, but also on future technologies like quantum and on semiconductors, because all of them will work in tandem. And for India to play an equitable role, it's important that India also come out with AI regulation, which can favor growth for the rest of the world. Also, as part of it, set up AI Safety Security Institute so that AI could be made safe and trustable, and it could be enabled for greater human support and not replace human jobs. So what we are looking forward to is building AI which is enabling human growth and not taking away human jobs where there is global fear and psychosis and FOMO. So here is the time where India can play an extremely important role in paving the way forward for the rest of the world to follow. And I look forward to looking to hear the leaders from the world who are coming and speaking. And I think the Prime Minister has spoken about this as well, that India is poised to create a greater opportunity. And the world is realizing that's why the Chief of the United Nations has come and spoken about India and its importance.
Bharatchandran Nagarajan, the whole world, all eyes are on India as this AI Impact Summit 2026 gets underway. But a summit like this, while it's a fantastic platform, a great opportunity for the world to come together, that's where all the cracks in the ceiling, all the challenges will have to be dealt with head on, isn't it? Because coming up with a global regulation for AI is a task that's going to be extremely difficult.
Yeah, I think the focus on the next 5 days would be more on India's prowess and what we can do in the field of AI. So it is going to be more focused on portraying India as the big market that we are, the amount of data that we generate in like so many languages, and also like our talent in terms of the apps that we are going to create. So I think that layer of apps around over the LLMs that have been created so far is just about to begin, and we are going to be, or at least the world is expecting us to be world leaders in that because of our prowess in IT. So I think that is a very exciting point. So that's why you see a lot of venture capitalists, you see a lot of people from the Silicon Valley, all of these people descending down. So I think those things will be the focus. See, and also like given this the scale of our market, if you take the last mile, for example, say in defense, like there's a whole host of AI applications that can be done in defense, and the Ukraine Russia war has also showed the world that the possibilities of using AI in defense is endless. So how can somebody develop AI responsibly and but also with the tact and precision is something that a few people will explore. There'll be people that will be exploring how healthcare could be taken to the last mile. There'll be people who will be looking at how farmers can they improve productivity, can they adopt innovative practices that are climate resilience. How can AI help in that? How can AI help in drug discovery? So these are the things that actually will dominate the conversations for the next 5 days. But the point that you mentioned is extremely important. Like, how do you develop AI ethically? How can it be human centric? What is going to be how do you address the job losses? Even taking it to another level. How is it going to affect us as human beings? What is going to be a human being in the world of AI when all the jobs are going to be done by bots and all the cognitive work is going to be done by AI. So our philosophical religious systems might have answers to that. But I think those are the big questions that might not feature in this conversation. Maybe there'll be a few panelists that will actually throw this out, but I think predominantly it is going to be more on the executive side of things, on displaying our prowess, on showing how India is going to be at the center of this development, bridging what is happening in the West in terms of like large language models, high investments, and a sort of unsustainable methods to how we can develop it, how we can democratize AI for the betterment of a lot of people.
Right, we're running out of time over here. I'm going to bring this back to Pawan Dugal as well. Pawan Dugal, this is both, whenever there's a crisis, there's an opportunity. That's the adage goes. AI in this stage, if people are fearing AI, everything from, deep fakes to, taking up your own jobs and, causing financial instability, then that is the opportunity that lies. And more importantly, opportunity as a country that India has as far as development of AI is concerned and the implementation of AI, because for a country the size of India, you need large-scale solutions at cost. And at this stage, AI seems to be the only one that can produce that.
AI is going to be the big catalyst for economic growth and national prosperity in the coming times. This vision is crystal clearly well defined in the Indian government, and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been actively arguing about this at the global level. Now, for India, this is a massive opportunity. Yes, losses will be there in jobs, but more significantly, this kind of in the India AI Summit is potentially going to give a fillip to more awareness about use of AI in India, about the need for Indians to be more AI skill ready, and about them to be finding out how they can continue to be relevant and topical in this AI age. Clearly, one thing is very clear: AI is developing at a far more bigger and faster speed than you and I are currently envisaging. Therefore, it's events like the Indian AI Summit, which is potentially going to bring home the message once again, not just to the experts, but to the entire ecosystem stakeholders, that guys, please wake up. AI is here to stay. It's not a bubble that's going to go away. Let's all work together so that how we can go ahead and harness the positive, constructive energies of AI to further progress, to further give a fillip to national growth and economy, and also be prepared to face with the new challenges that the AI ecosystem and its abuse brings forward. So all kudos to the Indian government, all salutations to the Indian thought leadership for conceptualizing and coming up with such a remarkable initiative, which is now just become the talking point of the world. And I think what's going to happen in the next 5 days will, to a large extent, also shape the evolution of AI-related jurisprudence in the coming times.
Okay. Almost out of time over here. Kanishk, last comment from you. I want to close with that. Kanishk, talk to us. If there's one or two big expectations from your side from a summit like this, what would they be?
So one key expectation is how we can have more AI startups in India and provide them the right infrastructure and as the backbone for developing AI for India. That's really the key. We have seen there is tremendous market for opportunities for global AI companies, whether it is OpenAI, Anthropic, Claude, Gemini. But how do we have AI startups to make India Atmanirbhar? That's really the key that I'm looking forward to. And how do I get global giants to invest in India for enabling growth to happen? There is tremendous amount of money they take from India, but how many jobs can be created for AI development, which could power the growth, is really the key. So I am looking at one, public-private partnerships, growth for startups, and India's growth story through ecosystem partnership. That is really the key, which is the crux of this summit. And we have seen they have been massive investments announced by companies, by big tech. But what about other new companies like NVIDIA, companies like Anthropic, companies like TSMC, who have so far not invested in this country? How do we get them to invest and see India as a growth opportunity? That's really the key that I'm looking forward. And India is also coming out with its regulations. Could those regulations also pave way for global adoption? That is one more area I really see if there could be a great opportunity.
Bhanuchandar, that is going to be key, isn't it? The funding is going to be key as to, for example, at what pace even we can even develop AI going forward.
Well, absolutely. In terms of progress, I think funding is going to be the key. Funding, technical partnerships, transfer of know-how, and I think there's going to be a lot of hobnobbing between the Indian ecosystem and also the global players. I think that is going to be quite exciting. And one of the speakers was saying, though there's a lot of chatter about AI, this event is actually going to bring it to the drawing rooms. Everybody is going to take it seriously and talk about it. That is going to be important. And last is the point that you mentioned, where global governance, governance of AI is something that we haven't paid much attention to. Europe is taking lead. Can we actually create those regulations which actually doesn't impede growth, but at the same time make sure that the benefits of AI are pervasive, is something that we can actually set an example.
Absolutely. That's the balance that needs to be struck. And the big question is, can India lead the charge in striking that balance? I'm afraid we're completely out of time here with that. Kanishk Gaur, tech expert and founder, India Future Foundation. Bhanuchandar Nagarajan, former consultant, World Bank and public policy expert. Pawan Duggal, Chief Executive at AI Law Hub. Thank you all three of you for taking time out to be with us here on News9.